Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? Happy Tuesday. Well, it is currently 6:11 p.m. and I am still at home. My entire evening changed tonight. I was supposed to go to couples counseling with Alex, and then Alex was going to drop me off at Tanya Jean's, and Tanya and I were going to go to a meeting tonight, but everything about my night completely changed, which kind of indirectly changed my day as well, because I wasn't really sure like what I was going to film. But anyway, let me tell you what happened. Okay, so literally as soon as I got done with my vlog yesterday, I was sitting inside and I was like uploading it, and Tanya called me, and so it was like I was like, you know, rendering the video and waiting for it to get done so I could start uploading it. And so I talked to her and she was like, hey, I can't go tomorrow night. And I was like, well, what's going on? And she was like, so her son's friend is in town for like a week visiting, and Nick, her son, has signed his friend and him and Tanya and Eric, her husband, up to go play in a euchre tournament tonight. She's so excited about it. I was so happy for her. She was like, I feel really bad. 'Cause I was like, girl, we can go another night. I said, I want you to go have fun. You love this kind of stuff. So she's really, really excited about it. So Tanya canceled on me last night. She was like, we'll just do something later in the week. And I was like, that's totally fine. So she was really, really excited about it. She was telling me all about this euchre tournament. It's funny because when I met Tanya, which was a couple years after it was like, I think a year and a half, 2 years after I got sober. When I met Tanya, she and that group of friends that we were all friends with at that time, they were big, huge euchre players, and I was not. And euchre is like one card game. I know how to play almost every card game out there. Euchre is one card game that still to this day, and I can't even, it's like football. I cannot tell you how many times people have tried to explain euchre to me and football, and I still do not get it. I still do not get it. But I think what's so funny is I can remember all the nights that they would play like euchre. You know, they'd have like 3 tables set up, you know, 4 people playing at each table and stuff, and people get so upset playing euchre. They get so bad. But it's a big recovery game. Like, a lot of people that are sober play euchre. A lot of people that are sober play cards, period. But back in the day, like, when we would get together, a lot of times there would always be like a euchre game going on. You know, after the meetings we would go to, especially like on Tuesday nights, which is our home group, and then like on the weekends, I can remember everybody would just kind of like go to Tanya's house, you know, and she'd have like a bonfire going out in the backyard. And so it's been a long time since I've shown Tanya's backyard, but she's this big concrete area where she puts like, you know, outside couches, and for a long time she had this like, what do you call it over it? A gazebo over it. And then just recently, like 2 years ago, they had this like patio built next to it that you like walk up to, and it's like this wood patio. So now she's got this huge like deck area back there. But then back in the day, she'd have a volleyball court back there. I mean, she's a huge backyard. So she'd have a volleyball court. So we'd come over there, you know, Eric would be grilling out. She'd have a bonfire going on. Hey, how are you?
Good. Are you doing a podcast?
I just vlog every day.
Where at?
On YouTube.
What's that?
Peter Vlogs. I'm kind of embarrassed.
What is it?
Peter Vlogs.
Peter what?
Vlogs.
Peter Vlogs.
Yeah.
We're going to look it up.
Oh, God.
Say hi to us right there so we can see it later.
Okay, I'll say hi to her. I think that's the first time that I've ever been asked while I'm like filming. Somebody's asking me. Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. Anyway, that is so hilarious. I think that's the first time I've ever, when I've been sitting out here, anyways. I mean, my neighbors like know my channels and stuff like that. It's funny, every once in a while somebody will say something, like one of my neighbors will be like, well, I was watching you do this review of something, you know, but like I think that's the first time. Actually, who was it that I was sitting out here one time and they were asking me, he always asks me like, if I'm sitting out here talking on the phone, my neighbor, the griller, he'll be like, he'll say, are you like filming right now? And I'm like, no, I'm just talking on the phone. He'll be like, can I come over and talk? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So he comes over and he sits in the chair and talks to me a lot. That guy was so funny. They were so nice. The people that walk in this neighborhood. I love my neighborhood so much. You guys have heard me say it a million times. I love my neighborhood so much. But anyway, that completely caught me off guard. This is what, okay, you guys want to see what I'm like if you come up to me and like in nature, if you come up to me out like in person, I get real embarrassed. I do. Like I don't know, I just get real nervous. Oh, there's my neighbor the gardener right now. It's real active out here today, isn't it? What are you doing out there? You know, I think that you better not just act like this is just every day that we sit out here and see each other. It's been like a good 6 months.
Well, yeah, it's been kind of cold out.
It's been very cold out.
Yeah.
How's that redo coming along?
What?
Your bathroom redo.
It's coming.
Your husband was telling me all about it the other day.
Then you know the latest.
I've got lots of gardening to talk to you about. Yep. But anyway, what was I talking about? I'm like so caught off guard with those people viewing the video. It made me so nervous. If he hadn't said, say hi to us in the vlog, so that like we can watch it later, I would have probably started it over because I got so embarrassed. But yeah, like when we would go over to Tanya's house, okay, take a deep breath. Okay. When when we would go over to Tanya's house, like on the weekends and stuff like that, she would like, you know, Eric would be like grilling outside. There was like 10 of us over there, like regularly, maybe more than that. And, you know, somebody be like, oh, there was a 10 o'clock meeting at such and such. Do you want to go to the meeting? So a couple people go to meeting and they come back. We go to like a 7 or 8 o'clock meeting. And so people were just kind of in and out of Tanya's a lot. I mean, these were the early days of sobriety. And it was so fun. I mean, her house was just kind of like this recovery hub. And so she, you know, it was fun. It was so much fun back then, you know, and some of it, like, so, you know, they would, like, order pizza, or Tanya always made this dip with, like, this ranch powder in it, and she'd put a whole spread out of, like, cut vegetables and dip and stuff, and, you know, we'd all go to the grocery store and pitch in. We'd be like, okay, what do you need, Tanya? And we'd go to the grocery store and get stuff. And then we'd, like, run to I almost said the Fountain Pop store. We'd run to the gas station, get Fountain Pops. And then, you know, Tanya'd be like, Nancy Grace is coming on. We'd all watch Nancy Grace. We'd all pile in and get on the floor of Nancy Grace, you know, or get on the floor. We'd all get in the floor of the living room and watch Nancy Grace. And, you know, Eric would go in the other room and he would, like, watch some movie, you know, and then, like, So Eric's brother he's since passed, but he lived with them for a while. And so, like, Eric's brother and him would go in and watch a movie. And, like, my old sponsor would go in there and watch, because they would watch these movies, like these old-timey movies, you know, like Old Yeller and stuff like that. And it was always movies that have, like, westerns or dog movies. And so my old sponsor would go in there, and because he lived on the south side. So, like, this was, like, a far drive for him. So he was usually the one that stayed the latest. So he'd go in there and watch a movie with them. Then like, Nancy Grace would be done. Then we'd be like, okay, somebody, you know, be like, oh, we need to get cigarettes, or we need to get a fountain pop or something like that. So we'd run out, and then we'd come back, and then we'd sit on the patio. We'd play games. We'd play cards. It was so much fun. She's being nosy over there looking. She, like, looked up over her, looked at me. So anyway, so my day kind of went differently than I thought it was going to go. I thought that I was going to go to couples counseling tonight, and that was from 6 to 7, and then Tanya's from 7 until probably like 9:30 or 10. We were going to go to the meeting, but that didn't end up happening. So I woke up today, and our therapist is sick. So there was like this, I woke up, and there was this whole exchange, like group text between he and I and Alex. But he's like, I'm really sorry, like, that I have to cancel. I just canceled on Peter last week, and blah, 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 and whatever. And Alex was like, can you do next Tuesday? So we're doing next Tuesday. So next Tuesday will probably be what tonight was going to be. So next Tuesday, therapy followed up with Tanya Jane will be next Tuesday. But, yeah, so when I saw all that, like, at first, because last night I was like, okay, I got to get up earlier, and because I was like, I want to film a bunch of videos, I had to be, like, getting ready, but, like, no later than 4:30, so I could get an Uber to therapy by, like, 5:15. And so I was like, okay, if I get up late, like, I'm going to be making 1 or 2 videos. That's going to be it. And but if I get up earlier, then I can get quite a few videos done. So when I knew that I wasn't going to the meeting with Tanya last night, because, I mean, that happened right after I started, like, uploading the video, I told Alex, I said, well, I'll just vlog when I get back from therapy, and then that way I don't have to worry about getting my vlog done before we go to therapy. He's like, yeah, that's great. And I was like, yeah, so then we'll be home by, like, 7:15, 7:30, and then I can just vlog from, like, 7:30 to 8:30, and then I'll still have the rest of the evening to enjoy. So then this morning, it kind of like set me off. Like I was kind of like offset a little bit. You know what I mean? Like when you're kind of like, okay, I don't know what to do. So I kind of made my list according to that last night. And then when I got up today, and I actually only slept like, I went to bed late last night. I went to bed at like 6:30. And so I only slept, I got up at like 12:30. I only slept for like 6 hours. I'm actually kind of surprised I'm not more tired than I am. I really, really, really want to take a walk tonight. I did not end up taking a walk last night because I had such a horrible headache. So I really want to take a walk tonight. So yeah, so I was like trying to figure out like which videos I was going to do. Well, then I ended up getting started late anyway with my videos. And then this one video, this drama video that I'm trying to post, it has like 3 clips in it that I'm including, and all of the clips have music in it. So, okay. So, if you upload a video that has music in it, like a clip of something, right? They have music playing in the background. This is the thing. I don't know which one it is. So my video is about Michaela Nogueira, and it's about her doing this launch of her new skincare. But then it also is talking about Jeffree Star and his reaction to it. So I've got her clips of her like announcement TikTok, but there's background music to it. But then Jeffree Star and his TikTok talking about it, there's music in the background too. So when it comes up on YouTube, it says unavailable in certain countries. It's not a copyright like anything. It just says it won't play in certain countries, but it won't tell you which countries it is. So it might only play in the United States. It might play not in the United States. It doesn't tell you which countries it'll play in. It just says not available in some countries. And then, like, the other thing is, it says in there, I mean, like, it will block out certain parts of the music. It's just, like, a real mess. And so I was like, oh, my gosh. So I had to go back in. This is what I've been working on to, like, go and edit it out. So I made the part with Michaela Nogueira silent because she doesn't really say anything except for at the very end. And then I have 2 rendering right now. One with Jeffree Star with the music in the background, because the other day I included it with the music in the background of his, and it was fine. So it might not be that. It might be her music. And then the other one, I just like clipped like a little bit of his off, and then I put like, I made a sign and said I could not include the clip because of the music, because I'm like, it's a 45-minute video. So I'm like, I'm not refilming a 45-minute video. So I may just scrap the whole video for today. I don't know. But anyway, in case you care, Michaela Nogueira is coming out with kind of a skincare line. So that was what my drama video was about. It was very exciting. It was very exciting. But then I was like, okay, I wanted to do a reaction to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So I filmed that video. I had these Reese's cups that I wanted to do this review of, so I did that. And then I did my review of The Comfort of Crows on my BookTube channel. So I also I was reading through like all the cards and letters. Yesterday I did my PO unboxing over on my Peter Does Stuff channel, which was so nice. All these people sent me just really, really nice things. People asked me what I thought about some of the stuff, or what Alex thought about some of the stuff. The painting that, well, 2 of the things. The painting that, I think it was Jess sent me, that her sister-in-law did of Boo Radley is just like beautiful. We're trying to find a place to put it because it's so beautiful. I mean, Alex went over to it, he's like, his little tongue, like, his little tongue, Boo Radley's little tongue. But then, he was downstairs, and I said to him, there's something next to the bed, too, that somebody else made me, and they made a little crocheted, and he goes, this purple bed? I go, yeah, they made a little crocheted purple bed, and then there was like a little Boo Radley sitting in it. When I was filming it, I didn't realize, last night when I looked at it, I was like, I would have the dog upside down. Somebody commented on it, and I saw the comment actually after I was showing it to Alex upstairs, so I said, come here, I want to show it to you. So I said, it's next to the bed. So when I turned it around, and you can tell, like, had the upside down. I was like, where, when I showed it in the camera. But actually, it's all black and white. There's no brown in it like Boo had. But it actually kind of does look a little bit like Boo Radley. It's kind of cute. But the bed is, like, the best thing. So I have it, like, next to my bed, and I have, like, the little Boo Radley sitting in this little purple bed. Alex loved it. He teared up. He's like, this is so, he's like, you have the best people that watch your videos. I really do. You guys are just so nice to me. You are so kind. I am so thankful for you guys. Just, you guys are just, you're amazing. I appreciate it so much. So yeah, so so today I wanted to do, so I was reading through all the cards and letters that people sent me, because I don't usually show those on camera, but I mean, like, every week I think there's been 1 week that I didn't get anything, but like every week people send me like long letters, cards, things like that. And I always read them all. I mean, people send me really personal stuff. I don't like to read them on camera. A lot of people will say in there, please keep this private or don't read this. But the letters, by and large, I just don't ever read them. I just keep them in a stack, and then like once a week I take them out and I read them. Well, there was a kind of a commonality between all the letters that I got of, well, this was what my video was going to be about, but it was like each letter that I got, every person's, first of all, it was so kind. Each person was like sharing how, they would share how they found me, you know, when they started watching me, and then they would say, like, they would share something personal they had gone through, and, like, what had, like, that part of my videos had helped them get through that just by distracting them, or thinking about things in a different way, or if I was talking about grief, like, it helped them, you know, whatever, and they would say, like, you sharing stuff about your life has really helped me, like, be open about my own stuff, and whatever. And it was like every single letter I got, the end of it, the sentiment was very much like, keep being yourself, keep being you. Like, don't ever, you know, very much the Janis Joplin quote, don't compromise yourself, you're all you've got. And I think, you know, this was what I wanted to make the whole video about on my Peter Does Stuff channel, but I'll talk about it over here. Maybe I'll end up making that video, who knows. I struggled with that for so long. Like, I mean, the majority of my life, I struggled with loving myself, thinking I was good enough, thinking I was okay. I still struggle with this stuff today. Oh my god, that dog is so big. Alex would love that dog. Beautiful German Shepherd. I still struggle with that, you know, like what other people think about me is none of my business kind of thing, you know, and that's something I learned day one of being sober. I think it's interesting, like, the older you get, I don't necessarily think it's an age thing, but the longer, you know, it's like, you hear these lessons, you know, and it's like, I remember years and years and years ago, you know, hearing the thing about, you know, that things come to you in waves. Like, first it comes to you, like, as, like, a whisper in the wind, and then it comes to you as a feather, and then it comes to you, like, lessons in life, and then it comes to you as, you know, like a wall, and then a brick wall, and then a mountain, and then it's like, finally you hear it, you know? I think that's so true. It's like, all of these things that I know to be true, there are so many people walking today, it's crazy. I cannot wait to get out there and walk, like, I'm so excited. Hey, how are you?
Hi, good. How are you doing?
Good. A lot of younger people walking today, too. Like 30s, 40s. Which I think is, it's crazy to say younger and say that, but they're all pushing baby carts and stuff too. A lot of families walking today. I don't know, it's like, you know, I've known all of these things for so long. Like, I've known, do you guys hear those birds? This is what I miss right here, like watching her work in her garden and listening to the birds and just seeing the sun, like, start to set and talking to people when they walk by. Like, this is what I miss, you know? It's interesting when I look back on, like, when I finally kind of, like, get a lesson. It's not like it's the first time I've heard it. Very rarely in my life do I ever hear, like, a lesson for the first time and I'm like, yeah, got it. That never happens to me. It's always, like, a lesson is repeated. I mean, I know that, you know, like, I was talking about in my Peterisms channel, possibly reading about the book, If Life Were a Game, These Are the Rules by Dr. Sheree Scott. And I read that book years ago. And one of the first lessons in life, there will be lessons, and lessons are repeated until they are learned. You know, I mean, that's something, I mean, I read that book when it first came out. I don't even know when that book came out. But, it was a powerful lesson that I learned years ago, you know, but I still know that, and I'm still learning it. So I think, like, I'm reading these letters last night, and people are saying things that, I mean, it's like literally every letter that people are like, keep being you. Like, you know, I struggled being me for a long time. I was actually just did a Peterisms video about this last week sometime. It's like, I think why that quote by Janis Joplin resonates with me for so much, resonates with me so much, don't compromise yourself, you're all you've got, is because I think for so many years I did compromise myself. I think I tried to be what other people wanted me to be. I was just talking about this when I was talking about being gay and coming out, like, in 1990 and things like that. It's like, I worked so hard to make other people comfortable that I forgot my comfort and all of that, you know? And even like dating guys and stuff like that, it's like I dated so many guys and tried to be what I thought they wanted me to be. You know, I think that's probably one of the most powerful things about our relationship is that neither one of us have ever tried to change the other person. I think maybe early on we kind of had an idea, like he had an idea of what it would look like and I had an idea of what the relationship would look like. But then I think my neighbor across the corner is like taking, he's like got a bag, he's like taking some present over to them or something to my pool crew people over there. Oh my god, all kinds of dogs today. Big dogs outside. And I remember Alex and I having a discussion early on about not trying to change each other. Like how that was really important for us. That to have common goals and to know, I think it's important to have long-term goals together because it gives you something to aim for, you know? I think to say this is what our end plan is or this is what we want our life to look like today and, you know, 10 years down the road. I think it's important as a couple to have those things. But on that journey, allowing that person to become and change as much as they want to, you know, and then getting to know that person all over again. And it's not just about like music taste or movie taste or things like that. You know, it's like when I first, like I've talked about this a lot. It's like, you know, when I first started dating, Alex loved like scary horror movies. He doesn't love them as much anymore, you know. His music taste has changed a lot. My music taste has changed a lot. You know, what I watch on TV has changed a lot. But those things I don't know that I think really matter. I think it's like our friend Carol says to Caroline and I, you know, like when I said to her, you guys have been married for like 60 years, you know, like don't you get bored of each other? And she says, no, because you change and you grow so much that you continue to like meet this person over and over and over and get to know them all over again, over and over and over. But in reading the letters last night, like I was almost moved to tears kind of because there were so many people, it was like 5 or 6 letters in a row. I should have brought them out here today, but I was saving them for that video. It was like 5 or 6 letters in a row that people said, you know, like just continue to be you, like always be yourself, that, you know, people would say you're relatable, that, you know, when you share stories about your life, they're relatable on some level. Just don't ever stop being you. And I don't know, it's like, I don't know that I ever had someone come right out. I'm like trying to go through the history of my past 52 years, you know. I think I did have some people be like, maybe, you know, it's like, when I talk about the coworker that I saw at Cafe Patashu 30 years ago, you know, when that wasn't 30 years ago because I was sober by then. So it was, I don't know, 20 years ago, 25 years ago. So we were both getting our master's degrees and she hushed me. I mean, in a way, that's indirectly saying, be less, don't be too much. That's why I love the saying, be too much. It's like, be less of who you are, you know, like you're too much. I have had people say that to me in my life. You know, even my mom would say things to me like, you know, like, I think she was afraid of me being ridiculed. So if I was going to wear something to school that she was afraid of that, she kind of like, you know, want to tone it down a little bit. And I think that that scared her. My dad is a fantastic example of be exactly who you want to be. Be exactly who you want to be. You know, my dad would always tell me that as a young kid. I mean, my dad loved, you know, all of the different phases of who I was and all that. And he loved all of it, you know, and I'm not saying that I don't think at times he was scared or that he thought I would be ridiculed. But to hear someone say that, to hear someone say, be yourself, like, I don't need permission from anybody, but to get permission is kind of nice. I don't know if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't need permission to be myself, but to step into myself and feel comfortable and then to people to embrace that is just really, really, I mean, it's amazing. And then on top of that, for people to share, I mean, people in the letter share such personal things with me. I mean, in direct messages they do too, and emails. People will share such personal things of like, they like breakups they went through huge medical issues that they've gone through and whatever. And they'll say, like, you have no idea, like, you will never meet. I mean, a lot of people say this. We will never meet, but you have no idea how much you impacted me. Or so many people will say, like, how much a part of our home you are, you know, because, like, people in our home know, like, you know, we'll say, well, Peter said last night, or, you know, Peter reviewed this, or, you know, Peter was talking about this, and it's kind of surreal, you know? It's like, I don't know, it's surreal. I sometimes don't know what to do with it. You know, that being said, I think that through the things that I've gone through, you know, especially the accident, like, I was really, really unsure of what to do, coming back, you know? I mean, there were people at the time that were really, really nasty online that were saying things like, I should never come. What was I supposed to do? I shouldn't come back. That I should just, I don't know what they expected of me. That I was just supposed to sit at home in a room and cry for the rest of my life. I don't know what they wanted from me, you know? Like, I think the natural response in a situation like that at some point, because, and the reason I say this is because I've literally had hundreds of people at this point tell me this is, at some point, that your life has to continue, you know? And so, but I was so afraid because I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't know, like, how do I flip a fan, you know? I was so stuck. I just was not, obviously, in a good place mentally whatsoever. And, you know, coming back and talking to you guys like this, sitting out here or on my drama channel when I was flipping a fan, and it kind of saved me, in all honesty. It really did. And then, I mean, through that, through the pancreatitis, through losing all of our dogs, I mean, every letter that I got mentioned Boo Radley's passing. I mean, I think about that. You know, I think about the fact that this little dog, you know, that, I mean, he went to Tanya's and he went in this yard. That was the farthest that he ever went, that little guy, you know? And him and his brother, Tucker, they never spent a night apart. Not once, you know? In all their lives until Tucker passed away. And PP too, you know? And I think about how, like, how people know things about Boo Radley, and, you know, people say in letters like, he was his own person, you know, and they'll say little things that they remember me saying that I don't even remember saying, you know. I mean, I don't remember half of what I say in videos, you know. I don't even remember 75 to 80% of what I say in videos, and people will remind me of stuff, and it's just like to think about. I think this is like the crazy thing, like on YouTube or TikTok or anything, it's like we watch people, and I think we have this kind of idea of what it's like, you know, when the reality is, I'm very, like, my life is boring, normal, and simple. That's just what it is. I mean, it literally, if I wasn't have this camera up right now, this is what my life would look like. Sitting here probably with a book or talking to somebody on the phone while my neighbor's raking leaves, you know, across there, and people are walking by that I'm saying hi to. It wouldn't look any different than this. And I'm thankful for that. You know, I think for so long, in my youth, I chased this idea of what, I think about that sometimes, like, what would my life look like, you know, if I had gone to fashion design school, if I had moved to New York, you know, would I have ever made it, or would I have been a complete failure, you know, if I'd gone to a college campus instead of staying here and going to IUPUI, you know? But I'm also a lover of the saying that where you are is exactly where you're supposed to be. I love that saying, you know, and I do believe that where I'm at is exactly where I'm supposed to be. I believe that now, and I believe that when I've gone through pain, and I believe that when I've gone through my highest moments of joy, that I've been exactly where I was supposed to be. And that in each of those moments I've learned something. And so, I don't know, but I'm so grateful for the people that wrote the letters to me. I think one thing that, this is the school teacher that, you know, I don't think I've actually talked to them since Boo passed away. She was the only, like, one of the only people in the neighborhood that actually knew who Boo Radley was. I think it's so crazy. Well, let me finish this and then I'll get into this. I don't think you guys, like, I say this every once in a while, like when I do cameos. I don't think that anybody has, I don't think you guys really get how much you have gotten me through really, really difficult times. And she's this huge sun hat on, and I'm living for it. It is like huge and broad, and it's pink, and I love it. And it's like I can't narrow it down to one thing. I mean, obviously, you guys are watching my videos, so you give me a place to come and talk, because if nobody was watching my videos, there'd be no reason to film videos. And so I get to get on video and just kind of share what's going on with my life, which is completely cathartic for me, you know? My therapist at times will encourage me to talk about things on video. He's like, talk about your OCD journey, you know, talk about your OCD journey, you know, talk about, you know, the trauma that you've gone through. He's like, it's healthy to talk about that and share it with other people, you know? And it has been really healthy for me. And I'm really grateful that I have a place to come and talk about things that are going on in my life. The camera stopped. I kind of had a feeling that it was about to. But I'm so grateful. And you guys give me that every single day. Like, if people weren't watching my videos, I wouldn't have a place to come and, you know, sit down here and talk. I guess she's done for the night. She's closing the garage door. And then the comments that people leave are just, like, so unbelievable, you know? And then, and the things people send me, the letters people send me, the direct messages. I mean, even just the things like, Peter, have you watched this show, you know? Or, hey, like, I want to tell you about a show, or send me a video that you think that I might like. Or somebody just introduced me the other day to this guy that has, like, this squirrel setup, because people know I love the squirrels, and that I had never heard of this guy before, and that he has, like, a house made with, like, a TV in the house for the squirrel and stuff like that. And so I've been, like, going through all his stuff and I mean, you guys send me so much, and I just, like, this back and forth thing is something I never expected. You know, I'm coming up on 9 years of being on YouTube when I started my booktube channel, and it's not something that I ever expected. And I'm grateful for that, and like, more than I think anybody would ever know. So thank you for that. I don't even know how I got to that. I was talking about the letters I was reading last night. They were so sweet. I don't know what it is about. You know, it's interesting because I've talked to, like, other YouTubers, and they'll say, like, you know, well, I'll talk about, like, a letter I got or something. They'll be like, do you really get, like, handwritten letters? I'm like, oh, regularly. And they're like, regularly you get handwritten letters? And I'm like, I don't think I've talked to one other person that gets, like, lengthy handwritten letters. And they're like, do you read them? And I'm like, I read every single one. And they're like, and I'm like, people share really, they're like that. And I can't remember who I was talking to recently, but they said that is so cool that people feel so comfortable to share that. I mean, people will sit there and share, like, I mean, I have had people share things, death, disease, I mean, miscarriages, grief, obviously tons of addiction stories because I'm sober, so a lot of addiction and recovery stories, family members themselves, their journey, suggest things to me. I've had a lot of people that have more time than me sober that will suggest things to me when I talk about emotional sobriety and stuff like that. People that have shared stuff that have gone through, like, the hardest breakups that I've ever, I mean, people share so much to me. I'm just, you know, and then people share a lot of joy with me, too. You know, they'll say, like, oh my gosh, you know, the first year that my husband or my fiance and I met, you know, we started watching your videos, and we've been watching it all since, and we just want to tell you we got married. A lot of people will ask me, they'll be like, do you care if we send you a wedding, if we send you and Alex a wedding invitation? I'm like, I can't promise you I'll show up, but yeah, absolutely, you can send me a wedding invitation. I get a lot of requests for, or not requests, but people DM me and be like, do you care if I send you a wedding invitation? I'm like, no, I think, like, that's an honor that somebody, I mean, a wedding is a really personal thing, you know, and I think that that's so cool, and I'm grateful for that, you know. I'm super, super grateful for that. Anyway, to go back to the videos that, I don't even know how I got into all of that, but, so trying to edit that video today, I don't even know if I'll end up posting it. I've got, like, 2 versions going right now. One with the Jeffree Star input in it, and the other one that has just the clip of it and a sign that says I couldn't include the clip. So if both of them won't upload, then I'm just going to scrap the video. I'm just going to be like, I'm not doing the video today. And then I'll come back tomorrow and do something. I might do the same story and just not include the clips. I don't know. I'm not, you know, this is so weird because, like, 5 years ago, I would have been so stressed about this. I would have been so worried and so stressed. And I'm just like, I'm not stressing about it. It is what it is. But I wanted to do a Peterisms video, and I wanted to do that Peter Does Stuff video. So I didn't get those videos done because I wanted to vlog so that I can go walk. Because here's the thing, and here's my conundrum right now, okay? So I literally listened to, like, 10 minutes of that book last night. So I told you guys I am, should we check the temperature really quick? It has been, like, in the 60s all day. Oh my god, it's 70 degrees right now. I'm gonna put on shorts to walk tonight. Everybody's been walking in shorts, so I'm gonna walk in shorts tonight. Okay, what's this supposed to be tomorrow? It's supposed to be still warm tomorrow. 72 tomorrow, 73 on Thursday, 76 on Friday, 70 on Saturday. This is such Indiana weather. 44 on Sunday. What kind of effed up is that? That is some crazy stuff right there. 52, 68. Okay, so this book that I'm reading, or I'm listening to, Nick Cutter, The Deep. I listened to like 10 minutes of it last night. I have 2 hours left of it. I am so bored with this book. This book is bad, you guys. I am so bored with it. Has anybody, if you guys have read this Nick Cutter guy, like, what's your favorite book of his? The Troop is what everybody says, but I'll be honest with you, I have bought so many books, and I have like 505 unread books on Audible. I am so over this book that I'm thinking, I have not DNF'd a book in a long time. Here's the problem with it. First of all, the book is not scary to me, okay? It's supposed to be a horror novel. It is not scary to me. It's supposed to be about them being in the depths of the ocean, but it's really not about that because they're like in this laboratory in the depths of the ocean. So the whole thing could take place in a laboratory 10 miles on the land. I mean, it wouldn't matter. And then it's like all these dream sequences, and it's a lot of flashbacks to his childhood, and I don't care. I don't care. I'm confused, and I'm just like, I'm over it. And I've got Janet DeLeon Misfortune book to catch up on. Mel just finished one, and she's like gotten so caught up, and I'm like, Mel's read like 30 books this year already. And so she just posted that last night. I was like, I still have like 2 Janet DeLeon. Did you know Janet DeLeon's husband, I think he passed away? It makes me so sad. Makes me so sad. But I think I still have like 1 or 2 books of hers to read to be completely caught up. And then somebody talked about the Criminals and Campgrounds book by Tanya Kappas. I think I'll probably catch up on those this summer. I'll probably do more cozy mysteries this summer because I've got the Josh Lanyon books to read too. But I have like 20 thrillers that I want to listen to. On top of that, somebody hold on a second. Let me look this up, see if I can find it. Hold on a second. Oh, blah-dee, oh, blah-da. Okay, so somebody recommended to me the Edge of Collapse books by Kyla Stone. And so I looked, and I bought like, I think I bought the prequel and the other one off of Thrift Books. So those came, and I'm like, okay, somebody mentioned that to me like 3 or 4 days ago. I was kind of surprised they came so quick. So those came, and I'm like, I'm in the middle of reading the, what do you call it, Life as We Knew It. I guess I should probably go back in time for a second here. Okay, so last night, what did Alex and I watch? Last night was Monday night. What did we watch last night? Oh, we watched Atlanta last night, the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Are y'all watching this? Well, okay, so I just want to say this in case you want to watch Housewives ever. Because people ask me a lot. They're like, because they know I watch all the Housewives except for Potomac and New York, or New Jersey. But I'm going to watch Potomac and New Jersey going forward. So people ask me this all the time. Like, they'll say, I've never watched Housewives. I want to get into it. What's a show I could start on? This season of Atlanta, I just did a full reaction on my Peter Watches TV channel today. So this season of Atlanta, you could start with this season of Atlanta because it has 4 new housewives on there, full-time housewives. Drew Sidora is from like the last 2 seasons. She's more a snake. I don't even know why they had her back on there. And then they have Cynthia Bailey is a friend of the show, so she's not like a full housewife. She's just a friend. Phaedra Parks comes in halfway through. Kenya Moore is still on there, but she has this huge thing that happens, and I think she gets fired from the show like halfway through, so she's not even a housewife or a friend. They're just keeping her on the show to like, so it'll make sense. But then it's Shamia, who was a friend of Portia's, and she was a friend of like a lot of them back in the day. She was a good friend of Candy's back in the day. She says on there to explain it that she's a friend of Portia's, but she was a better friend with Candy than I remember her being a friend of Portia's. So anyway, it's Shamia, and then it's this Kelly, and this Britt, and then this Angie. I don't know anything about the other 3, but So this is what they do. Like with Portia, they come back and they kind of tell her story in like 5 minutes. Shamia kind of tells her story. It feels very much like a first season of a new franchise. Like you could watch this season going forward and never have to have watched the past seasons. Because I think they're going to reference the past seasons, so it would make a lot of sense. So if you've ever wanted to watch Atlanta, but you felt like with New Jersey and stuff and like Potomac, there's so many seasons that I'm like, if I start watching it now, it won't make any sense to me. You could watch this, like Orange County, like, they reference things from like 10 years ago. Beverly Hills referencing things from 10 years ago. This season of Orange County, the whole episode last night, I mean, they talked a little bit about stuff from the past, but not really. I mean, it's a completely new show. You could watch it and not have any knowledge of the Housewives of Atlanta before. So, just want to say that. But we watched that. And that was fantastic. And then, I have to tell you who it is when I walk by. She doesn't do her bike anymore. She's got a walking stick. It's the woman from the Villages. She and her husband live in the Villages. But then they tried to rent their condo out in here to her nephew. And somebody said something about it. And so then they had to come back because they were going to be at the Villages for like 2 years. Or maybe he like had to leave. I don't know how it worked. But I think somebody said something or he had to leave for some reason. So they came back because he was like paying them rent or something like that. You're not like allowed to like Airbnb these things out, but I think as a family member you're allowed to do that. So I don't know why. I don't know. But anyway, I think he had to leave or something is what he told me. I don't know. I was at the pool one day and he told she and I something. But anyway, his wife's rude. She don't ever say hi to me, talk to me, nothing. I mean, always when I see her, I was like, hey, how are you? She just keeps on walking. Just keeps on walking. But anyway, so we watched... I'm trying to think of my night last night. Nikki and I were going to do puzzles. Oh, this is what happened. Okay. So I was uploading my vlog, the vlog from last night, and then Alex came down and we watched Atlanta. And then after Atlanta, I talked to Tanya. And Nikki was she wasn't home yet, so we were going to do puzzles later, and I said, I'm going to lay down for a little bit. So I laid down, and I got up, like, right at, like, 12 o'clock. Nikki and I ended up talking on the phone for, like, an hour and a half. It was ridiculous. And so by the time that we got done, first I came down, so I don't even know what time it was. We got done talking off the phone. It was so nice outside last night. I mean, it was cold, but it like got cold last night, but it wasn't, like, it was still nice. I put on my, like, Bernie Sanders coat, that coat that Tony calls Bernie Sanders. I put that coat on, but, like, it wasn't cold, like, freezing cold, but it was colder last night. But anyway, I got done, and so I lit the candles and all that kind of stuff. Oh my God, I am completely done. Are you guys excited for this? I'm completely done with all the Christmas wax melts. So I had some melting of the Christmas last night. I told Nikki what it was called. She goes, I'm over Christmas, girl. I go, what? She goes, I am so over Christmas. I go, well, it is March. It's like St. Patrick's Day, I think, is next week. So anyway, we watched something else last night, too. During Atlanta, I had, like, some of them, like, melting, and then when I got up last night, I melted. I didn't even have enough. I had, like, 3 of these little cube things, and so I was talking to Nikki while I was doing it, and I said, I'm going to put some of these, like, apple happy waxes in there as well. So anyway, I'm done with the Christmas waxes. Now watch, in the garage, I'll find, like, a whole bag of them or something like that. I hope not. But anyway, I'm kind of done with the Christmas scents. I'm ready for the spring scents. So I got up, lit the candles, came out here, talked to Nikki. Alex stayed up super late last night and watched Suits till like almost 2 o'clock in the morning. I don't know how we are both not totally exhausted today because I stayed up way too late. So then I was like, okay, you're going to read. So Nikki and it was like, I don't know, it was late when we got off the phone. And I said to her, I feel like it's kind of late to do puzzles. She's like, and I to be honest with you, I didn't want to. This is why I've got to either finish this book or maybe tonight I'll be like, I'm finishing this book no matter what. So I can start a new one tomorrow. One day it's not going to kill me. And then I can just, say I got it finished instead of DNFing it. I got 2 hours left. I can finish that book. If I take a walk, I'll finish more than half of it. So who is this coming down here now? Oh, hey. Hi. So I was like, I'm going to read a little bit. So I read some of my graphic novel last night, Where the Bodies Are by Ed Brubaker. And then I read I read a couple things in the Margaret Wrinkle book, but like only like 2 last night. I really wanted to get in Life as We Knew It. Okay, you guys, I literally last night, I have like a third of the book left. I read like 80 pages last night. I could not believe it. I mean, I read for literally like 2 hours straight. I couldn't believe it. I was like, I looked up at the clock at one point. I was so into this book. I have not been into a book in so long. Like, The Comfort of Crows by Margaret Rinkle, like, changed me. Like, it was such a profound book. But it wasn't like a page turner like this. Like, this is a page turner. I mean, like, and I feel like I've said this every time I've talked about it, because in case anybody gets it, I don't want them to, like, be like, Peter recommended. I mean, it's cheesy written. It's like, it's written like, it's like a high school, like, Go Ask Alice kind of. I mean, the writing's not great. But I mean, it's literally about, like, the ending of the world, and this moon that is just, like, everybody can see it because it's sitting right there in the sky, and it's causing, like, all this stuff to happen, and now people are looting stores, and it's really dangerous, and schools are closing down. And it's just all this girl's diaries of it. I am obsessed. I'm literally obsessed. She has this religious friend that, like, all she does is go to church and pray, and she doesn't want to eat, so now she's real sick, and then one of her friends, like, takes off. I mean, all of the people are leaving from this town, and they're supposedly going south, because it's supposedly, like, down south they have, like, gas and electricity and whatever. They have no electricity. They're running out of food. It's because of the moon, there's no sun, so it's like in August, it's like 40 degrees for a high. It's so interesting. So this was the last book series, or books, that Susan Beth Pfeiffer wrote before, I believe, she retired. I looked it up. Remember when I was looking on a vlog when I looked it up. The battery went to the halfway mark already. It's at 46 minutes. Somebody said on my video yesterday, they said, and it's because of you that I remember this, so whoever said it, I just want to say thank you. They said, I'm going to keep on telling you in the comment section until you do it. They said to go get the battery out of the coat, and I read the comment, and I got up and I went and got the battery out of the coat. So now I got 4 batteries, so there's that. So thank you so much. What was I going to say? Yeah, the book is so fantastic. It's just like, it is one of the most addicting stories I have read in a very, very long time. So I read that for a while, and then I was like, okay, you want to watch some TV. So I'm like really into this Tim Hortons decaf coffee. I've been drinking it late at night. Now, it tastes really good for a decaf coffee. So I drank this Tim Hortons coffee. Alex finally, like, he like shouted down at, like, I can't remember what time it was. I think it was, I don't know. But anyway, I was like, you're going to be so tired for work tomorrow. He's like, I know, but I'm so into it. He's like, I don't know what season of Suits he's on. He's like so into Suits. So he finally went to bed. I remember, like, this morning, because I went to bed at 6:30, and I fell asleep. Like, I'm falling asleep. Can we just talk about this for a second? How many weeks in a row did I talk about how hard of a time I'm having falling asleep? And now I'm just, like, falling asleep like that. And so I laid there, and I was, like, kind of talking to him, telling him about what I was watching on TV and what I was reading, and then he's, like, scrolling through TikTok, you know, and I fell asleep. And like, I fell asleep, like, that quick. And I woke up, and he was, like, kissing me goodbye. And he was like, okay, I'll see you later. And I, like, looked at the clock, and it was, like, 7:30. And I was like, oh, my God, I was out quack. I was out quick today. I'm going to keep on letting this run until, I should go get another battery now, but I'll just let it run until it just won't go anymore. I love the sound of the birds. I can hear somebody walking down the street. Let's see who it is. See, we're right on this kind of like T right here. So sometimes they go down that way, and sometimes they come this way, and I can hear them. Yeah, I think they went down that way. I'll know in a second, because like the house, I can't see, because the house cuts off the edge of the street. Here, let me show you. So I can't see, because, so this is over here where the street T is. So see, I can't see until they start walking down like that area. And do you see their windows over there? So that window is how I can see into their driveway, and I can see when they pull into their driveway. Do you get it? Okay. And see, this right here is pool crew lady number 1. That's pool crew lady number 2. Over there is the griller and the gardener. Next door is my neighbor that I go to the pool with all the time. Next door are my world traveling neighbors, but they're home now. See, that was somebody. They walked down there. There's the dog, the big German Shepherd that they had. Okay. So, you know what, actually, I actually think I'm going to go inside, and I am going to get a battery, and then I'm going to start, uploading one of these videos, so that one of the drama videos, I can see if it'll even work. I can upload it while I'm finishing my vlog. So I will be back in 2 and 2. Okay, I'm back. You know, I just realized while I was doing that. So, I was like getting ready to like upload the video to my phone, which takes about a half an hour to 40 minutes for completion. And I was like, if this one doesn't go through and I have to do the third version of it, I'm gonna have to wait another half an hour, 40 minutes before I walk, because I need my phone to listen to my audiobook or music. And I'm not gonna walk without my audiobook or music. And if I upload it on my computer, it's gonna take like 3 hours. So I might just have to post a video tomorrow. I know people like, I used to post videos so late, like 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and I don't really do that anymore. Did I tell you guys that when I was talking to my YouTube manager, she told me that the best time for me to post is between 12 and 6, because that's when the most people watch my videos. I was like, no, I don't think that's true at all, but whatever. I said something, she was just laughing at me. Anyway, I don't even know what I was saying, but I was reading that Life as We Know It, Knew It book last night. I'm like so into these apocalyptic stories now. Like, I still haven't finished Station 11. I've got like 3 or 4 episodes of that left. So last night, you know, I'm very, like, I always feel like I have to watch this and I need to watch that, I need to watch this. So the last couple nights have been like, just, you need to watch just what makes you happy. I mean, all the shows make me happy, but I got done with Life as We Knew It. And the book, well, I didn't finish it, but I got to like, I don't even know what chapter I'm in. It's like fall now or something like that. And I was like, okay, this is a good place to stop. So I stopped, and I plugged it, because, you know, I wear those things around my neck that have the lights, and so, they have the lights. It's like these lights that, you know, so I sit in the dark while I'm reading it with all the candles lit. It's very cozy. So I got done with that, and I think we have Beverly Hills to watch tonight, too. I think it might be the season finale and then the reunion. It's either this week's the season finale or next week, but we have Beverly Hills tonight. Well, it was on Monday, so we'll watch it tonight. But anyway, so I got done and I was like, okay, what am I gonna watch? And I was like looking through my list and stuff like that. And I was like, I want to finish Ghosts. So at that point, when I got done reading, it was like, I don't even know what time it was. It was like after 4 o'clock in the morning. And so I was like, I'm gonna watch Ghosts. So I just remembered, that I started a load of wash last night and put it in the dryer, and I did not go down there and fold it, which means it's going to be wrinkled as hell today. To do another cycle of the drying on it. Anyway, I just remembered that. I knew there was something I wanted to do in between reading and watching my shows, and I totally forgot what it was to do. So anyway, so I was like, okay, I want to finish Ghost, because I'm like on season 1 and I had just like 2 episodes left. So I watched the last 2 episodes last night. Why am I crying on that show? Can somebody please explain this to me? Why am I crying on a show that is about this couple that moves into this mansion out in the middle of nowhere that's filled with all these ghosts? So I don't want to ruin it for you, but the last episode of season 1 is like, I mean, there's a lot of emotional stuff. It's corny. It's a comedy. I don't know why I like it. It's totally not the kind of show that I like, but I'm so into it. So anyway, so I watched it. I watched the last 2 episodes, and I was like, I'm going to start watching season 2, because I was like, I wanted to find out, because it ends on like kind of a cliffhanger. So I started watching season 2, and I ended up watching like 3 episodes, and I was like, I looked at the clock, and it was like 6:15. I was like, you need to go to bed. I was like, this is ridiculous. You need to go to bed. I think. So, I think I'm on the 3rd episode. I think I stopped it halfway through or something like that. So anyway, I went to bed and fell asleep real quick. And that was my night last night. It was wonderful. Had such a great night last night. I'm loving all the candles and stuff like that. And so I'm still going through the Christmas candles, the Goose Creek ones that I found in the garage. But after that, then it's a spring candle center. I don't mind it late at night with like the winter of the candles. The thing is, like, our temperature setting is so messed up inside. Like last night, I turned it down low because it had been nice yesterday. And it was like set at like, it was like 72 inside. And I set it down to like 69, and it really never dropped below that. So it was kind of hot in here last night. I wanted to open the back, like the sliding glass door, so some air could come in. But then I thought it'd get like too cold because it was cold, a little cold last night. But anyway, so yeah. So that was last night. Oh, I spent some time. I sat there and I like read through all the comments from the last couple days in the vlogs, like the ones I missed, and comments on my other videos, and was responding to people in direct messages on Instagram. And my Instagram, my new Instagram for my Peter Watches TV went from like 0 to like, I'm at like 13 or 1400 right now. I'm like, that is pretty cool. I'm loving doing that and talking about all the TV shows and stuff like that over there. I'm having so much fun. So anyway. Yesterday I filled you guys in on the cricket and the mice, right? So we don't need to, now that it's spring, the mice will probably be going outside. They probably won't be living in our garage anymore. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if I'll miss them. I haven't really seen them. I mean, I've seen them kind of like, one of them I saw like scurry under that hole, and then the other one, like, I stepped on the step and it went to the right. And that was like, that's been my interactions with the mice. They're real small. They're real small. So anyway, there's that. And then there was a comment that I wanted to talk about. I think Kayla left a comment. Said something about something I'd said in a past video about books that I was writing, and said something about, I mentioned something about a book that I was going to write about my mom, stories about my mom, and like what happened to that book, and she was like, oh, I would like definitely read that book. That was so sweet. I really appreciate that you said that. I think I've shared this on here before, but I have like a notebook that I keep like every idea of a book. I have books all the time, ideas. I just literally this week, I probably like in my notes app to transfer to that notebook, I came up with like now I really want to write a thriller. So I've come up with like 3 thriller ideas. Ever since I was a kid, I've had full outlines. I literally have half of a memoir of going to treatment that I just one day was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I stopped it. I don't know if this is the book that you're talking about, but for a long time I wanted to write a book called Pretty Drinker about my mom and me and like our drinking like histories and our recovery side by side, because I think the story of family addiction and family recovery is powerful. You know, when my mom and I got sober in December and she got sober June 2nd of 95, there weren't a lot of people that were family members that are sober. I mean, there just weren't. I mean, in that time, like, I have a friend of mine, he is probably 5 years more than me, and his mom had longer than him and was in a 12-step program. But, like, there's not a lot. I mean, today, I'll know, like, couples or husbands and wives and things like that that are sober together. But at that time, there wasn't that many people. There weren't that many people that I knew that, like, the disease of addiction. I mean, it's a family disease, and we talk about that. That there were that many people that were multiple people that were sober in a family. Today, that's a kind of a common thing you hear about. You know, you'll hear, like, 3 brothers in a family, or a dad and a son, or, you know, like, it's pretty common today. You hear that. Nature. Nature. But back then, it wasn't. But also because I think that there was a part of me as a child that kind of, like, idolized, there was a part of it to my mom always, like, that's why the idea of the Pretty Drinker came up, is that I always, like, my mom, her hair would always, I can just see her sitting there, like, drinking a glass of wine or, like, a martini, and she just looks so pretty, you know? And, hey, how are you?
Frank, how are you?
The pool's about to open.
Get ready.
I mean, in a month or 2.
Well, right, that's good.
And you're gonna be there, right?
I will be there.
Yeah, I gotta get your number so we can text each other, so we'll go up there.
You on the phone or something? You're doing something?
Well, let me stop it real quick. I'll be right back. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. That was so fun. So that was my neighbor that I saw, well, I used to see her at the pool all the time. So her daughter used to bring her grandson to the pool. And then her daughter and her wife had another child. And so I didn't see them a lot at the pool last year. So when the pool was closing, what is going on over there? Do you hear this? When the pool was closing, there was one day, I think she walked by here or something, and she said she didn't want to go up there by herself. Do you remember that? That's who it was. So anyway, so she was like taking my number, giving me my number, and I was giving her my number. She was giving me her number, and I was like, well, just text me your number. So she's like, well, you'll get it from my cell, but she's like, I'm going to give you my landline. I'm going to text it to you too. She's like, yeah, I know. I'm still one of the people that has a landline. And I was like, oh, that's so funny. I just was talking about that the other day with my mom. You know, like, I kept her landline for a year after, and she was like, how have you been? And I was like, I've been really good. I'm like ready for spring and summer. She's like, the weather is just amazing, isn't it? And I was telling her about, like, my mom used to say, you know, about seasonal affect disorder and how, like, as you get older, you don't like the winter as much. And she's like, it's so true, isn't it? I mean, she's a little bit older than me, but she's like, yeah, she's like, I don't even want to go out in the winter. It's so cold. It's so good. I mean, I love this when people start coming outside and you start seeing people. I don't know. For me especially, just being at home all the time, like, It gets a little lonely during the winter, but I made it. I made it to the other side, you know? So anyway, what was I saying? I don't remember even what I was saying before all this. Talking about the TV show. Oh, the books with my mom. So, okay, when I was little and I would like look up at my mom, like drinking and whatever, and like I can just see her I can see her with her blonde hair, and it was when it was longer, just smoking a cigarette and drinking like in her library with Fleetwood Mac playing. I always just thought she was so pretty, like so glamorous, right? And I think there was a part of me that always wanted to kind of be like that. I don't think that's the reason that I drank, but I think there was a part of me that always kind of like idolized that a little bit. And so in the memoir that I wrote, that I started writing, the beginning of it is me entering treatment. And there's a part in there when I think I've even read part of like what I wrote in here. There's a part when I walk by the mirror and I look in the mirror as so my neighbor that was my nurse had told me to go down to the lounge. She's like, please stay. And so I went down the lounge. She gave me like my pack of cigarettes and was like, go down there, have a cup of coffee. And in the treatment facility that I went to, you could only get regular coffee in the detox unit. And so she's like, go down there, get a regular cup of coffee, smoke a cigarette. You could only smoke inside down there too. And so I went down there, but there was like a mirror, like a full-length mirror in like the hallway. And I remember walking by, and I was like in pajama pants, like hospital pajama pants and a hospital robe, and I just looked a mess. And so in that memoir I wrote, like, the picture of a pretty drinker. And so that was the comparison to my mom. I don't know if that's the book that you're talking about. Listen, I throw out ideas all the time. You know, I think the world is, my friends and I, we are constantly throwing out ideas. So this friend of ours, this another couple that we're friends with. Alex was friends with his wife like years before, and so we do stuff with them a lot as a couple. And he wants to do a podcast so bad. He the other day said, "Why don't we do Housewives podcast?" He's constantly throwing out ideas for me or for us to do. Tanya Jean and I, we have started so many businesses in our head. Tanya's back in the day, she wanted to start this. Okay, she wanted to start a gym with a tanning place, and she wanted to call it Tanya's TNT, Tanya's Tone and Tan, okay? I mean, this was such a joke for so long. Tanya and I were going to start a detective agency calling it Moonlighting after the TV show. I mean, this was true. We were really going to do this. We were going to get our detective licenses and all kinds of stuff. If I told you how many ideas, me and my friends, my husband, my cousin Caroline and I come up with so many ideas. Do y'all not do that? It's so funny because, like, until I got on YouTube, and, like, if I said something like, oh, like, I want to write a song, I'm just making this up, but then, like, a week later, somebody say, if you didn't write that song, I'd be like, damn, you know what I mean? No, I didn't write that. I'm not saying this to Kayla. I thought Kayla's comment was sweet. But until I got on YouTube, I didn't really realize that, like, if you say it, you better follow through with it. You know what I mean? And it's kind of funny because, like, my whole life I've been that person. I've just been an ideas person. I mean, I don't know how many books I got in that notebook in there, but enough to keep me going for the rest of my life. No, true story, I do. Like, I have so many, I mean, I've outlined books. I have whole books that I've outlined, you know? I think that I was going to say this in a video not too long ago, not a vlog. I think I was going to say it in a drama video, but, like, there's a couple things I want to do. I've always wanted to write like a positive affirmation meditation book. And I thought if I picked a date and then just every day going forward for a year, I just wrote like what I learned that day, that at the end of a year, I would have a positive affirmation book. That's one of the goals that I have for starting this summer. I also want to write a book of poetry. I shared this not too long ago, okay? I shared with you guys some of my horrible poems that I wrote. I also would like to write a cozy mystery series, and I would like to write a thriller. I still want to write the recovery Christmas book and turn it into a movie, okay? Like, that's still something that I want to do. That's something I will do. I don't know what capacity that will look like, but I will do that somehow. Whether it ends up just being a play that I put on for some friends that are sober, I don't know how that's going to look, but that will happen in some way, shape, or form. But I'm just an ideas person. I just am. I'm always coming up with ideas. I'm so thankful that I am an ideas person because so many of my ideas, it's funny that online, and again, I'm not saying this about Kayla's comment, this is just in general, that there are some people that judge me so quickly for what I don't do when so many of my ideas have come to fruition in 7 YouTube channels that I post on regularly, a book that I've written. I mean, there's so many things that, like, ideas that I've come up with, book clubs. you know, movie clubs, read-alongs. I mean, there's so many ideas that I've had that I followed through with. And I've had so much fun. And I will keep on coming up with ideas and stuff like that. But I appreciate that, Kayla, that you said that. I mean, you know, I think for me also, this is where I'm at. Like, my goal is that, like, in June, I really want to start writing heavy again. This is where I go. I do, like, 3 days where I write. I don't even say a whole lot about it on here anymore because I know that there are going to be people that are like, oh, he said he was going to, is the book done yet? You know what I mean? Kind of like that kind of thing. And so it's like, I don't really say a whole lot about it, but there might be, like, 3 days where I write something and then 2 weeks where I don't write anything at all. I've kind of, like, my goal is I would like to start in June be like writing heavier again. People ask me all the time, like, if you weren't doing YouTube. If I wasn't doing YouTube, I would write full time. Cozy mystery series. I'm telling you right now, I would put out 4 or 5 a year. I would probably write under a pen name, and I would just put them out left and right. And that's what I would do. That would be my life going forward. So I don't know, like, you know, I mean, like, I would love to write a cozy mystery series anyway. It's not like cozy mystery series are super difficult. I think there are some that are very well done, and I think there are others that aren't. I think I probably would fall somewhere to the bottom of that if I wrote a cozy mystery series, but I think it would be fun to do. The thing for me is that I'm kind of in this area where at 52 years old, it's not just about where I put my energy, it's where I put my time, you know? It's like, I've thought a lot about going back to school and getting some obscure degree in something, right? Like, I thought, I might like to go back to school. But then I think, I don't know that I really want to. I don't know that I really want to spend time in a classroom. There were times that I loved school. There were times that I hated school. But I thought about that through the years, you know? It's very similar to that with writing. I think I enjoy reading more than I enjoy writing. I think if you look back in my life, if I look back in my life, I've always enjoyed reading more than I've enjoyed writing. I think that I loved reading so much. I think this is so true of so many readers out there. There's so many readers that want to be writers. If you look at, like, half the people that I started on BookTube with have ended up writing books. I think people that love books, they love storytelling, and they want to be storytellers too. I like telling a story. I think I do a lot of that on my videos, and especially over here, it's really a storytelling. Like, every one of my vlogs is kind of a chapter of my book of life that I've been doing this now for 9 years. I mean, there's stories woven all. I'm more of a storyteller than I think I am a writer, if that makes sense. And I don't even know that I really enjoy the craft of writing so much. I like the idea of putting words together and coming up with a story or characters. I like writing something that moves somebody. I like all of that. I like I get excited about words, and, you know, I don't know, I just, and, I just don't know sometimes that it's that important for me to finish. I probably, at the time that I was talking, a lot has changed in my life since I thought about the book about my mom called Pretty Drinker. I don't know if that's the book that you heard about in the vlog. Maybe I came up with some other idea that I was going to write stories about my mom's life. You know, there was a book that I wanted to write years ago, that I wanted to write a book just like, you know, little short stories. And I was going to, I mean, I hold the whole thing outlined and everything because my dad, this was actually, I think this idea came when we went to Connecticut for Alex had this, like, training there, that I can remember saying goodbye to the Airbnb that we stayed in. I can remember having lemon verbena pancakes on that trip and stuff like that and saying goodbye. And I remember, like, I kind of, like, on the way home, like, I outlined, or while we were there or something, I outlined this, like, whole book, I don't even remember, that I was going to write about different trips that I had taken with my dad, and then leaving the house that I grew up in last time with my mom, and saying goodbye to places was really like an ending of a moment that meant something to me. That was a whole book that I wanted to write. I wanted to finish this memoir about my, you know, life. I have stories. I have so many fiction ideas. I mean, I can't even tell you. I have, like, ones that have always been at the top of my head about, like, the girl that's murdered and left in a trash bag on the side of the road that I was just going to call trash. And it's literally a time of, like, how she gets there, like, and it goes back in time of, like, how she got in this trash bag and the people whose lives were affected by it. You know, there's so, I mean, I've had so many books outlined that I wanted to, you know, write through the years. I have whole characters' names, you know, written. I have this girl named Monday and this guy named Jagger that, like, were characters that I thought up years and years and years ago. It's funny because wanted to read on Beverly Hills, her son's name is Jagger, and I thought that's so funny because I was going to write a book years ago called Jagger and Joplin, and I literally outlined the whole thing. It'll probably never come to fruition, but I think that's a great title, and I think those are great names about, you know, two people that meet, that their parents named them after musicians, except that she... Well, it's kind of a play on words. But anyway, I mean, I've got all these ideas. I used to, like... It's interesting, when I got on YouTube and people would say things like, will you never finish this, or you... Then I kind of got in my head about it a little bit. I don't as much anymore, because a lot of those ideas that I've come up with and books that I've, like, outlined, and then 2 days later I don't even remember that I outlined it. And I just came up with this whole idea the other day about this woman, like, that she just, like, is, all of a sudden, she just, like, is in the middle of this mall and she has no idea where she's at. I mean, I wrote this, like, literally, like, just, like, chapter 1, chapter 2. I mean, I didn't write it. I, like, outlined of what I would do with this book. For a long time, I think this is part of the reason why I'm, like, really attracted to these, like, End of the World books, is because for a long time, I wanted to write, like, a zombie book. I have a whole zombie book outline that's complete. I have 2 zombie books. One is, like, one that takes place in, like, an older neighborhood, because you don't really see that. You don't really see, like, zombie books that affect, like, older people, right? And then I have a whole other idea that is completely different than anything I've read or seen. That could also be kind of like an end of the world kind of book. It wouldn't have to be with zombies. So I'm kind of like, that would be something that I'd like to read. I think that's why I'm attracted to reading those books right now. But will I ever complete a book again, writing a book? I don't know. I may not. I have no idea. I can tell you today, sitting right here, it's not that important to me. It means so much to me that somebody would say, I mean, Kayla, that meant so much when I read the comment and you said, I would love to read a book about you and your mom. The fact that anybody would even care to read about, like, my mom, any stories about my mom, you know? I think that that's one of the things that my mom, like I've said this before, I don't know that she didn't really understand how to use a cell phone, let alone how, like, she wouldn't really get all this, you know what I mean? But I think the lasting impression that her stories have had on people, I've had so many people that have reached out to me and said, I never thought my parent would get sober, but because you shared about your mom, like that, like I held on to hope, and my parent is sober today. I think, like, stories I've shared about my mom and my aunt. I mean, somebody just said the other day when I was talking about, like, at my mom's funeral playing Singing in the Rain, they loved that. I think my mom would love that legacy, that after all, I've shared this before, that at my mom's funeral when I stood up, so the church is like 2 stories that my mom, it doesn't even exist anymore. Well, I don't know if it exists. The building probably exists, but the church is closed down. But our Redeemer that I grew up in, and at 38th and Park downtown, and it's 2 stories. So, and it's a big church. It's not huge, but it's a big church. And I can remember when I got up, I mean, I'm sitting in the first pew, so it wasn't like I was looking back at people. And I got up, and I remember I just was, like, overwhelmed. I mean, there was standing room only upstairs. I was overwhelmed at how many people were there. And I said, when I looked up, I said, my mother never knew how loved she was. She didn't. She didn't know that. She thought she was a burden to people. She thought she was bothering people by calling them and asking them to do stuff. I'd say to my mom, like, what are you doing tonight? She'd say, well, so-and-so said they were going to call, but they didn't call, and I don't want to... I'd say, Mom, reach out to them. She's like, I don't want to bother them. You know, like, they're married. They have a husband. Like, I'm alone. I'm single. Like, you know, she always felt like she was a third wheel, even to my aunt and uncle, you know, and she didn't. She didn't know how loved she was. And to see all those people there that love my mom, I think that's what I was talking about earlier with the letters, is how loved you guys make me feel. It's powerful. That purity of that is so powerful, you know? Even if we'll never meet in real life. And so, I think the lasting... And my mom loved stories. She was a storyteller. She'd sit, you know, in there, and we used to have a couch in there. We don't have it anymore, but... Well, we have a couch, but not the couch that she had. And she'd sit in the couch in front of the fireplace, candles lit, smoking a cigarette, you know, and she'd be telling all these stories, you know? She'd tell a story about funny days of her and my dad in Chicago, and things about her and my aunt, you know, growing up, and stories about me as a kid, and just stuff that she'd seen on TV the week before. My mom was, I mean, she could 1 second be And my mom could, this is the one thing. I don't love when people pass away and people saint them. That's not like my thing, and I just want to make that clear. I don't love when people like pass away and it's all of a sudden like we forget like who they were. I think that's phony. I think it's disingenuous, and my mom thought it was phony too. My mother was a difficult woman, and she would have owned that. She would say, I know I'm difficult. And she had a lot of issues. And she was scared a lot of the time. And as the only child, I was the recipient of a lot of that fear, a lot of that worry, and so there was a lot that went along with that. And my mom would, if she were sitting right here, she would say, that is 100% true. She would own that all day long. But there were so many wonderful things about my mom as well. Like, I just don't want to paint her in a picture that, like, she was this, like, saint that just sat around. And, I mean, my mother, she would admit to her wrongs. She tried to be the best person she could be. She struggled a lot in life. She did the best she could, you know, sober and before she got sober. And, but, you know, one of her most wonderful attributes, and also one of my father's most wonderful attributes, and maybe this is where I get it from, but I don't think I'm nearly as amazing at it as they are, but I love it to do it, is they're storytellers. They're natural storytellers. And my mom could go from 1 second telling a very deep and emotional story to just laughing to the point where you thought you were going to pee your pants, and she just was brilliant. And I think I have passed on so many of those stories in the vlog. Maybe I should turn it into a book one day. I don't know. I don't even know what that would look like. If anybody has any suggestions, Kayla, if you have any suggestions, if you remember from the vlog I mentioned it, please email me or DM me. Or tell me what vlog it is that I was talking about, because I don't even know. And I think the other thing is, I don't know that anybody would care to read a book like that, you know? And, but I appreciate you bringing it up. I think my mom would be so charmed by the fact that there's a little bit of a lasting legacy that somebody knows who she is. I think that would be so cool to my mom, you know? So, there's a lot of this that she wouldn't like or she wouldn't understand, but I think that piece, you know, I think she would think that was cool. You know, that maybe in some way of, like, sharing parts of her story. My mom was really, really big on, if you only impact one person, I can't remember how she said it, because I've heard it from so many different people, but like through the years from different people, but she really, really believed that you only needed to impact one person in your entire life in a positive way to have made real change. And if my mom has even done that after her death, years later I got on YouTube and I shared stories of her being sober, and even one person was impacted by that, or me sharing about grief with my mom's passing, or a funny story has lightened their mood. I think my mom, she would find a blessing in that. So, it's a cool thing. So anyway, alright, I'm going to get off here now, and I'm going to go and start rendering this vlog. So, I don't even know how long I've been vlogging now, so that I can, because she stopped me, and I gotta go get my phone, put it up there. I gotta see if this video got up. If there's no drama video today, you'll understand why. But anyway, yeah, and then tomorrow is Cousin Fun Day. Caroline's coming to pick me up early tomorrow. She said 12 at the latest. I was like, well, what time am I supposed to get ready? She goes, 12 at the latest. I was like, 11? Should I get ready at 11? She goes, 12 at the latest. She just kept on saying it. I was like, I don't know what time I'm supposed to get up. She's like, and you don't have to hurry. So I'm like, well, she'll sit in the car, she listens to her audiobook, or she'll, like, you know, make work calls or something. So anyway, tomorrow's Cousin Fun Day. So depending on what time I get home will be how many videos I film tomorrow. So maybe I'll just save this drama video till tomorrow and cut out those pieces, and I don't know what. We'll figure it out. I will not let it drive me crazy, though, tonight. Tonight I'm going to read, and I'm going to watch more shows. I would like to really finish Station 11 tonight, because I want to watch Paradise on Hulu. Like, that's my next big watch that I want to watch. So many of you guys have reached out to me and told me that. So, I hope that you guys are having a magically amazing Tuesday. If nobody else has told you this today, I love you guys. And, of course, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love you.